Thank you guys for the opportunity. I really think this is completely not fair, though, that I get to go last after these brilliant people. Oh my goodness. The reality is, let's see if I can get this to work. I'm a technology guy, but yeah, there we go. I'm just an entrepreneur. I really don't have some of the stories that some of these brilliant people have, but I will say that I'm an entrepreneur that absolutely adores working with other entrepreneurs. And so I have had the pleasure and the opportunity over the last 8 years to be a part of the Kansas City community as it's grown in this kind of tech entrepreneurship scene. And I've really been on a mission to figure out how to help founders and entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial thinkers turn good ideas into great product experiences. And so the way that I've done that is did what I was trained to do, which was I was a designer. So I started making pretty things, which is why I have more slides than everybody else. And so, not that there's, never mind. So, generally speaking, I've had the opportunity to pull together a very creative team, and our focus was trying to figure out how to help people launch companies. And over the last 6 to 8 years, one thing a theme that kept coming up, both for myself and also for the founders of the companies that I was helping, was that they just couldn't do it alone. There's something about being an entrepreneur that's really this weird dichotomy of the fact that you're in this position of authority and of leadership, yet it's extremely lonely because you just have to feel like you're pulling together the people to go with this vision of this cause, of this big problem you're trying to solve, yet it's kind of on your shoulders, right? So today what I want to do real quick is just unpack 4 ideas that I have about how entrepreneurs, and I think other people might get something out of this as well, can think about how not to take this journey of entrepreneurship alone. Real quickly, we're going to cover sharing your ideas, finding a wingman, building a collaborative culture, and connecting with your community. So I want to take a step back for just a second. What is an entrepreneur? I've had the pleasure of working with entrepreneurship foundations and with meetups and groups, and obviously being an entrepreneur myself, and I have absolutely no idea what an entrepreneur is, or at least what the definition is. And so I did what any good entrepreneur does, and I Googled it. Okay, here's the definition. A person who organizes and operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. That's about right. So it's a guy or a girl that starts a business and they're crazy enough to risk all their money to do it. And that's kind of what entrepreneurship is about. It's about taking that leap of faith and going out on your own and maybe going for it, right? So we get to help people through that journey. I was going to jump into kind of a job description, but I'm already at 7 minutes, so we're going to go past that. I would say just a few things to take into mind. What else an entrepreneur is he's saying I've got more time? Oh, cool, sweet, that's awesome. Let's go into that. So looking for, yeah, and I'm also the guy in tennis shoes and everything else. So looking for, what would be a job description for an entrepreneur? You can't stand to see a problem that no one else is solving, right? A good entrepreneur ought to be solving a problem, and the really great entrepreneurs are the ones that just cannot stop themselves of jumping out and being crazy enough to try to solve that problem instead of getting a real job or quitting their real job to go start this crazy thing. You get back up quickly from failure. I think that the great entrepreneurs that I've seen and the great entrepreneurs that I look up to, they all make mistakes, right? We even the ones that the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Steve Jobs of the world, they made epic mistakes. And yet, it was how they got back up from that and kept going that was the huge aspect of their entrepreneurship. You listen, experiment, iterate, and learn crazy fast. I think that's one of the things I love about being an entrepreneur is that I get to learn constantly. And now we know we all get to do that, but there's just this sense of soaking it up and running with it as much as possible. You take a huge leap of faith, or you're willing to take a huge leap of faith. I think that entrepreneurs don't talk about it enough, but I think entrepreneurship is very much like being a Christian. That there's a sense of having to take a little bit of a leap of faith to believe in this thing that you believe is true, you're pretty sure it's true, but yet you're not quite sure it's true, you know what I mean? And so there's this leap of faith that has to happen in entrepreneurship. And then the last thing, of course, is the most important. You're willing to work crazy hours and drink a ton of coffee. I think that's really what keeps us going, right? And I want to touch on one thing real quick here. It's what a great, awesome place to be an entrepreneur. Do you guys love Kansas City? Just raise your hand. Yeah, right? This is such an amazing place to be right now. In the last 10 years, in the tech scene and the entrepreneurship scene and just the growth of the local and the sports teams are doing great and everything else, it's just so exciting to be here. And the entrepreneurship environment here and the culture and the community is incredible. The Kauffman Foundation, which is just in our backyard and nobody knows that they exist, is this global research foundation for entrepreneurship. It's a couple blocks away. And of course, there's tons of meetups and groups that are formed around Kansas City and just a great place to be. So I want to step back, and you'll notice I'm a bit of a nerd, so the slides I use, this is Sherlock. I'm kind of a fanboy. But really get into why is it that it's hard to do this alone? I'm going to touch on two things about being alone as an entrepreneur. First off, when you start as an entrepreneur, you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, you're really stuck in this spot where it's just you, yourself, and an idea, right? And the scariest part is to get that idea out and be willing to tell other people about it. And so I would say that's the first place that you're alone, and then you're alone also once you do start pursuing that idea, having someone else to share that journey with as you go forward. So my first suggestion here is that you be willing to share your ideas. There are so many opportunities to share ideas. The easiest one, have lots of coffee with lots of people and share your idea. And I would encourage anybody who has an idea to start a company that they go talk even more so to people that might want to buy the thing that you're going to sell. So share your ideas as much as possible. Meet your customers, talk to your pastors and your friends and your neighbors and your mentors and anyone you can find that will listen. Don't be afraid that someone's going to steal your idea. Everyone is far too busy to steal your idea. So really be willing to share your ideas. Second, Sherlock theme keeps going here, just so you know, is find a wingman. And I think this is crucial for any. There's a statistics about the fact that startups that have co-founders are far more likely to succeed than those with only one founder. And so find a wingman. Find that person to journey along with you. Find a co-founder, someone who's going to encourage you, that when everything is falling apart, the person you can lean on, the person that is going to hopefully fill in some of the other attributes of things that you're not good at. But find somebody you can trust in, and for those that might need a better wingman, and probably what you thought of first when I said wingman. This is my wingman. That's Daniel Lennard. He's actually back there. This is all right. Oh, Dan. And he's got a much better shaped head than me. So Dan and I have had the pleasure of working together for the last 6 years. We've had a blast doing what we do, forming a creative team that helps companies launch. We put together a vision for our company that says, well, we'll create the best solutions that solve problems and better lives. Sounds great, doesn't it? But that's really what we get an opportunity to do as entrepreneurs. We actually get to solve problems that get to better lives. And God willing, along the way, we get to hire people and provide jobs as we're doing that, and we get to create an economy, and we get to change a community. And so this mission statement or vision statement is key to who we are. So find a wingman that you can journey with along your journey of entrepreneurship. And then build a collaborative culture, right? This whole conference has been about collaboration. I love that. That's one of our core values as a company is collaboration. And I have the ultimate pleasure to have an incredibly collaborative team at Cremalab, my company. We're based down on the Crossroads, so we have this cool Crossroads arts office. But the reality is what we've tried to do is create both a physical space and then bring the right people in from different backgrounds and different traits and different even perspectives, beliefs even. And bring them into the same physical space and allow them to write on the walls and put sticky notes and everything. Bring in the clients that we work with to collaborate with us, but allow those people to share their thoughts with each other, make each other better, allow us to use our skills and our focuses and our roles to come together towards a common goal of helping these other entrepreneurs launch their ideas. And then the last piece here is connect with your community. Look for other people that look like you. I think that was what I was going with on that slide. Find other people that look like you. So if it is that you're in the social sector, if it is that you're in hospitality or in other business, find those people. When everybody stood up, I thought that was great. Thank you so much for that. It helps with my slides. When people stood up, there was this opportunity to see other people that are like you, other people that you can come together. And honestly, the best thing to do with those people is to share war stories, right? What's gone wrong in what you've been trying to do? What went really well, and how can we learn from each other? I'm totally out of time, which is awesome because he said I had more time. So maybe you're not an entrepreneur. Actually, I want to take one step back. I want to touch back to Kansas City because I can real quick. There's one thing that I have had the pleasure, and it was mentioned that I had the pleasure to be a part of, and that was 1 million cups. I just want to touch on that because I think it's such a cool thing that started here in Kansas City and has expanded. 1 million cups was an organization, or was a program that Kauffman Foundation put together when they realized they had this huge mecca of entrepreneurship in Kansas City, and they knew no Kansas City entrepreneurs. They literally knew 5. That was the story. And what they said was, I wonder if we can put together this hypothesis, this proposition that, can we form a community of entrepreneurs around 1 million cups of coffee? And the reality is you can. You give people free coffee and they show up. So when I was able to start volunteering with that program, there was 30 of us meeting once a week. We joked that it was like our entrepreneurs' church because it was weekly, the same time, same place, and we all had the same beliefs and a huge leap of faith. And so what we were able to grow that into was about 200 to 300 people meeting every week at Kauffman Foundation, and now it's grown to 72 cities across the country. And what an awesome thing to see a community grow around a common cause and be able to share our war stories together. So real quickly, I'll go through this fast. Maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but I still think this applies to you. I'm just going to cover these real quick here. So look for a problem to solve in whatever you're doing. Share your ideas. Find a wingman. Find somebody to go on that journey with you. Learn from your mistakes. Surround yourself with a variety of talents and people, and then share your war stories. I'll be honest. I've been doing this for a little while now, and it still is a little lonely sometimes, even with a wingman and a collaborative team. But I want to do this because I believe in the change that entrepreneurs can have. This is really... almost cried, just for a second. This is really what gets me excited. This is where there was a joy. I was talking to Walt earlier, and he asked, what's your greatest joy right now? And I said, it's when my kids show up at my office and those two worlds come together, that they see their dad doing something great. I have an incredible wingman. I got to bring that picture back up because I love it. But he encourages me so much to be better and for us to do greater things. An incredibly collaborative team that I am so blessed to be doing what I'm doing. Lots of high fives. And the reality is I can't do it alone. I can't be an entrepreneur alone. I tell our clients, you ought not to be doing it alone. And that's just because I'm just an entrepreneur. Thanks, guys.